Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to the 6 o'clock news on SBYnews.com. What I want to share with you today is something a little different for me. Uh, I'd like to talk about something a little more personal than we normally talk about. As you can see out in the pond, we've got some new life here on the ranch again here in Delmar. While that's a fortunate story and kind of interesting, there's a big sad part about this day that I'd like to share with everyone. You know, when I was a kid in 1973, I moved from California to Bowie, Maryland. And I'll never forget the first day arriving there, and the moving van showed up and they started unloading furniture, and people just started coming out from everywhere. You know, Bowie was like the new Levitt community that had all kinds of things to offer, shopping centers that had their own state-of-the-art water and sewer system. Um, it was just different. It was nice. And being a kid, we were pretty blessed to be able to live in such a community because we really were very, very broke. We were flat broke. But when we moved into Bowie, people started coming over, and right away as we moved in and welcoming us to the area. And one of the many few friends that I've gained lived only a few houses away from me, and they were two sisters, Lynn and Terry, my friend Kevin, who lived across the street. And trust me, I'm going somewhere with this, folks. But the bottom line is, these are lifelong friends. These are people that I stay in contact with throughout all these years since 1973. We grew up together. They had a lot of respect for me and my brothers and my sister and my family because we came from nowhere. We had nothing. And when we were kids, at 13, 14 years old, we were out working full-time jobs and turning our paychecks over to our mom just to survive. And I'll never forget being a kid and going into school, and sometimes you'd have to wear the same shirt you wore the day before because mom was so tired and busy she couldn't do the laundry, and it was just a part of life, and over time, people tended to forget that, and they more or less respected the fact that this is where we came from. But to make a long story short, one of my friends, well, several of them actually, ended up starting to dabble in drugs when they were kids, when we were younger. And while I was around that environment, fortunately, when I'd get out of school, I had to go to work. So I really didn't spend that much time with this other group. But I did watch my friends start dabbling in pot, and then, over the years, when we became adults, some went off to college, things got worse for them drug-wise, some didn't, some straightened up. But where I'm going with this is this, folks. Over all those years, one of my dearest friends, Terry Allen, got married to one of our childhood friends, had a child, went to William and Mary College. Before she went and had a child, got married, of course. Both of them actually went to William and Mary, and I travel out there and visit them. They had the world in their hands. Very intelligent people, had financial backing to put them through college, and good college. Terry got herself wrapped up more and more into drugs, and ultimately Terry and Kenny got divorced, and she got to see her son somewhat, but she just kept dabbling more and more into drugs, to a point that ultimately she ended up in jail. She was cutting fraudulent checks and doing anything to keep going with her drug habit. This morning I got an unfortunate phone call telling me that my friend Terry is dead. She died this morning. Folks, for what it's worth, many of you know we're raising our grandson. we can't control other human beings. We can't control what they do. We can't control our own children in many cases. We can guide them as best as we can, and we can direct them as best as we can. And in many cases, I even have to admit that a lot of people don't have control of their own lives when these chemicals and drugs get into your body. All I can tell you is that in the last few months, I've lost my mother. We all lost Sarah Foxwell. We lost Dawn Mitchell. And now I've lost another dear friend of mine who was my sister. One of my best friends in my entire life. And while I'm sad about this, I'll even admit that I think I have a little peace in knowing that she's finally gone. I've watched her for 30 some odd years continue to dwindle away and hurt all the people that loved her the most. So before you experience these same things, and while I apologize that we're not on a typical news program that we normally put out, I'll just say that these things need to be shared so that you can go out and talk to your children. Get them while they're young, folks, because again, as you know, we're raising our own grandson because of addictions from both parents. And it's not easy. And the worst part is it's not easy on the child. You know, we kind of love having this kid around every day. To me it is, because I'm home all day and I'm with him all the time when he gets off school. I'll be with him this whole summer. And I'll love every minute of that, and I'll enjoy every minute of that. But to wonder how quickly lives can turn and destruction along the way because so many families and people have been hurt. Keep that in mind, folks. Work with your kids and see what you can do to educate them on drugs. This has been a horrible day for me. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks for being here.